So, you want to be a loner, but not that kind of loner. Not the brooding rogue type in the corner who grunts once in a while and refuses to engage with any plot thrown at it. Some stories ban that archetype outright.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
And you know what? They're not wrong. At least not for that kind of loner. But what if you could make a loner that just works in any story? The loner in itself is an archetype that exists absolutely everywhere. You have your wandering ronin, your mysterious cowboy, or just your general lone wolf type. They are self-reliant, cool, unattached to anyone or anything. But let's be real. If you want to create that kind of character, you first have to actually understand what makes a loner work. A loner, first off, wants to be alone, even if the company wants to be with them. They don't rely on others, but sometimes the journey might demand more than they can give, and they sit outside of society, especially when the society is flawed. That tension that you see here between your character being a loner versus any other kind of character, that is the razor's edge you're walking on with your loner.
Perfectly balanced.
When you have these basics down pat, you can then start to build your loner a bit more deeply.
His treachery runs deeper than you know.
Let's break it down. There are two major types of loners. There is the drifter, who doesn't really have a real destination. They just kind of go where the wind blows. Think Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name, Satoichi the Swordsman, or Yasuo. They act on instinct with their codes, constantly reacting to the world and the stories around them. This is perfect for a short story or maybe several quick plots where they simply interact and the interaction is the story. Then we have the driven. They are loners with a purpose, a mission, a vendetta. They are pulled forward by the plot, made by the plot, and molded by it. Think Gandalf, Alucard, or maybe even the ghoul from Fallout. These are better in long, character-driven arcs with big emotional payoffs where you can really exploit them having a defined goal. But to explore that, you have to ask yourself,
why are you the way that you are?
Nobody likes a blank slate with no story at all to work on. You don't need a traumatic anime flashback, just figure out two simple concepts. Are there reasons internal, such as a belief, a code, a worldview, or just an inherent distrust of others? Or is it external? Did society push them away to its fringe? Did someone or something betray them? What caused them to be a way that they weren't before? That reason, right there, is what is going to shape how they engage with other characters and the world itself as they create their interactions to enrich the story. But the moment they engage with your world, that's when the real test comes. How does your loner actually function? For that, I have outlined three types. The first one is the denier.
I don't need to wait for a vote. I don't belong here.
They say they're fine. They never ask for help. Emotion, that's a weakness. Teamwork, that's another weakness. They don't need it. But are they skilled because they're alone or in spite of it? That question right there creates the space for them to realize their worth and grow as a character. The second type is the I work alone.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
They're in a team, sure, but, you know, they keep their distance. They take the hardest tasks. They shoulder the real weight the others can't just deal with.
I don't have to do anything. I'm a part-timer, remember?
Just make sure you don't overdo this one. Cool detachment with any character can quickly turn into them being an abrasive, toxic snob extremely fast. And finally, we have the gloomy soul, the dark heart.
I'm a menace. One those people were too weak to protect themselves from. That's all there is to it.
They need to be a loner. Their backstory is heavy, their heart is heavier, and these characters shine in especially serious and emotional plots. But remember, it's important that even with a character so dark as this one, they need a lighthearted moment now and then, especially because the higher the positive notes fly, the harder the negative notes fall. But talking of falling, let's talk of failing. Let's talk traps. By that I mean trope traps, the kind that ruins a good loner very fast. The first one is understanding the difference between being a loner and being alone. Being alone is a situation that's contextual. There's nobody around you, you're alone. Being a loner is a behavior, a personality. It is built either by choice or circumstance and influences the character's demeanor. You can still interact, collaborate, and build relations that enrich the story while still bringing your loner flavor into those moments. As more often than not, a memorable story is built on relationships, not individual characters. The second trap is the mysterious past and its evil twin, the no past. It's okay to be secretive, but don't be so vague that you feel like a blank slate. Give them a lived-in life. Fragments of who they are. If they used to be a cobbler, they now clean their shoes every day. If they used to write poetry, well, they still do. The audience can then relate. They want to understand your loner when they show a little bit of themselves. In essence, the little cracks that we see in the loner's armor, that is where the connections will start. Then the third trap is that there is no evolution. Staying the loner isn't a static affair, it's not the default. Even if they stay distant, they can still grow. You, for example, you've changed since you were a kid, right? Even if part of that kid is still you. The same goes for the loner. They don't whine all the time about being better alone. They change, they learn to work together with the people in their story, and when they have to, they appreciate them.
Hold on to that until then.
That's what makes these interactions matter, the growth that they can create. And finally, the final trap to end all traps, the main character syndrome.
Well, I am king. Oh, king, eh? Very nice. And how'd you get that, eh?
Your loner is not the only story being told. Use the yes and rule, even amongst your characters. Indulge the callouts of others, enable their stories, and contrast with them by making your loner be the foil to another character, or sometimes be the foil to their own story. That is how your loner's tale and the tales of other characters can get better. And now, if you're still stuck on how to evolve your loner, you can use some of these popular tropes that I myself have used a few times. The first one is honestly the best one. It's found family. Picture this, the scary guy and the small kid, the old master and the angry student, the chaotic bard who breaks the loner's silence with a funny joke or a silly comment. They highlight the tenderness, the moral limits of your loner. They might even end up inverting the dynamic sometimes, making your loner become the weak mentor to a now grown-up, self-reliant loner kid. Connections like these build emotional stakes, and these stakes can become the lifeline of your loner. The second trope is brothers and sisters in circumstance, like brothers in arms or sisters in arms. They have the same mission, maybe they have the same trauma, or they're forced together because either one or the other needs help. Sometimes friendships can grow in spite of the loner, but sometimes it grows because of it, and even some other times it also grows among loners who understand to feel alone together. And the final, probably most common trope is revenge and redemption. When revenge ends, the characters are left feeling nothing. They're empty, they're hollow. When redemption hits, they become whole again, but in the end they're at the same place. A new start, they're nowhere. Both arcs are perfect moments for the characters that have surrounded your loner to be there, either helping them heal from the end of their emptiness or helping them belong as themselves, loved unconditionally for who they've shown themselves to be all along the journey. And that's it. Your loner now built to last. For a short one-off, a longer story, or maybe even a series. Just remember, every single story is a collaborative affair amongst people, writers, or sometimes characters. And every single character is your greatest resource. So interact with them, not away from them. After all, you might be a loner, but you are never alone. Stay healthy, and see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!